Gradual clearing after some morning clouds, afternoon lake breeze, a high of 71 inland, 68 near the lake, clear tonight with a low of 48. It's 64 degrees in Milwaukee. At 11:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, negotiations continue at UW-Madison this week as university administration meet with student protesters. WISC TV's Shane Hogan says the groups met yesterday and again today.
There they would discuss the next steps here for the encampment, including a potential removal of the tents here on Library Mall. In that first meeting, we know that the chancellor promised to students that there would be no police action for a 24-hour period. So we'll have to wait and see here when that second meeting is scheduled for students to meet with the chancellor later this morning.
Meanwhile, at UW-Milwaukee, new tents have been added to the current encampment near Donner and Kenwood, and the support continues. Over 100 students from Marquette University marched in solidarity to the UWM encampment on Thursday, as did Shorewood High School students who staged a walkout.
Another Israeli hostage in Gaza dead after Israeli forensic teams determined the person was killed back on October 7th. This as the U.S. and other mediators say they see signs of progress towards a ceasefire. The sides still disagree, however, on whether to end the war.
Hamas announcing it will send a delegation to Cairo for more talks on the latest Gaza ceasefire proposal. That as Hamas formulates its official response to the U.S.-backed deal that would pause fighting for 6 weeks and free 33 Israeli hostages, including at least one American. We're at a critical moment. If Hamas rejects this deal, Israel may begin to evacuate more than 1 million civilians from Rafah in preparation for its controversial military assault on the last Hamas stronghold. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
School will resume Monday in Mount Horeb after an active shooter incident on Wednesday.
Superintendent Dr. Steve Salerno reminding the community to have sympathy after a student attempted to enter the middle school with a gun but was confronted and killed by police.
It's not lost on any of us that we've lost a beautiful soul in our district. And there's a family that's hurting right now. And nobody wants this for their child.
Events scheduled for this evening will go on. Students will return to class on Monday. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
And the district plans to add more police on school campuses and increase patrols in surrounding areas when school resumes.
No jail time for a former City of Milwaukee employee found guilty of election fraud.
Nearly 2 years after requesting military absentee ballots under a false identity, and less than 2 months since she was found guilty of doing so, former Milwaukee Elections Commission Deputy Director Kimberly Zapata was sentenced to a year of probation and ordered to pay $3,000 in fines. She'd requested ballots be sent to the home of State Representative Janelle Branchin ahead of the 2022 midterms. Zapata did address the court before she was sentenced Thursday.
When someone hears my name, I want them to think of my good qualities. I don't wish to be forever attached to what I did in that 8-minute window of my life.
Her attorneys say they do plan to appeal. Mike Spalding, WTMJ News.
Decision Wisconsin, President Biden coming back to the state next week. The president will be in Racine on Wednesday to deliver a speech and a campaign event. No additional details are yet available.
A Madison ice cream store evacuated. Shep's Ice Cream on the east side of Madison experienced an ammonia leak on Wednesday. The Madison Fire Department responded. No one reported illness or injuries. The ammonia levels returned to an acceptable level about 30 minutes after ventilation. Earlier this year, Shep's was fined more than $145,000 for OSHA violations.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow surging today up 439 points at 38,664. The Nasdaq up 302 points at 16,143. S&P 500 also up today about 58 points at 5121. Big mover on the day. Apple is up nearly 7% at 184 a share. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com. Click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
What did people do before electricity? Did they binge watch their favorite shows by candlelight? Would they hand crank their computers to surf the web? Or burn kerosene to heat their hot tubs and curling irons? Just kidding. But hey, when Mother Nature knocks out the power, it does kind of feel like you've suddenly been transported back to the time of horse-drawn covered wagons. That is, unless you have a whole house Generac generator installed by Mr. Holland's Home Services. Our proficient power pioneers hardwire your new Generac generator directly into your home's electrical system. So when the grid takes an unexpected hit, your home won't be sent back into the dark ages. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services to schedule the installation of your new whole house backup Generac generator. 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If lightning gives your home a blast from the past, we can help.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
When our parents were moving from the farm, we each got some furniture.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
There was one piece that still had our grandmother's name on it. It was on the back of the piece.
Written with lead pencil.
Yeah.
That was the piece of furniture all five of us kids wanted.
Today, I tell people that ask me, like, okay, I bought this piece of heirloom furniture. Is there anything special I should do with it? Turn it around. Take a magic marker and write on that thing your name, when you bought this, where you bought it from. That piece will be cherished in your family for centuries to come.
PennyMustard.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Cubs this afternoon. It's game one of a three-game series from Wrigley Field. Coverage gets underway at 12:45. Milwaukee begins the day with a one-game lead over the Cubs for first place in the NL Central Division. And the season is over for the Milwaukee Bucks. They will turn their sights to the draft and upcoming free agency. Four free agents to be will be unrestricted. We'll talk more Bucks throughout the program here on WTMJ. Meanwhile, the Pacers advance in the NBA playoffs to face the Knicks.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. No big crashes to let you know about. That's fantastic news after the day that we had yesterday around this time. Our construction zones are seeing some slowing. However, I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown, that's currently a 3-minute delay. 894 westbound, the Mitchell Interchange, the Hale Interchange, a 2-minute delay.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the roads. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Mazda traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Well, some clouds this morning have moved out over Lake Michigan. Should have sunny conditions the rest of the day. Nice little afternoon lake breeze. High of 71 near inland, 68 if you're closer to the lake. Mainly clear tonight and a low of 48. Increasing clouds, a chance for an evening storm on Saturday, a high of 72. It is 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
An abbreviated Wisconsin's Midday News rounding out the week after a Bucks loss. But hey, Brewers season is in full swing, and the Brewers take on the Cubs. So a little excitement here going into the weekend.
It is. I'm so sad. I'm so bummed about the Bucks, as I know many of you are out there. But I will say, I felt very sad for, well, I still feel sad. Who's lying? Yeah. I was lying. I still feel sad. But I also have a sense of optimism, and that's because of what I heard Dame say after the press conference last night, and also what I heard Doc say. And we'll tell you about that coming up. But I do feel like they at least gave me a sense of optimism, and I think others will feel the same.
All right, so the Bucks are done. No Game 7 in Milwaukee on Saturday. Brewers and Cubs will be out about 12:45 today and send you off to Wrigley. Some big stories we're covering today at 11:10.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number one, pro-Palestinian protesters at UW-Madison just met with the chancellor for the second day in a row. We're waiting for the details right now as to what, if anything, came out of this meeting. Yesterday, the chancellor guaranteed there would be no police action until they met again. The encampment that was dismantled and rebuilt still standing, at least for now. An escalation in tension earlier this week resulted in the arrest of multiple students as well as faculty members. Meanwhile, here in Milwaukee, protests continue at UWM. WTMJ's Jack Rao just returned from campus. What's the latest development on the UWM campus, Jack?
They're saying that their numbers have increased given the solidarity that they were shown from Marquette and Shorewood High School, and they say that morale is high. They say that they're feeling good. They don't have any plans of backing down anytime soon. Interesting thing to keep in mind is that they're in the final act of the semester. You've got finals on May 11th and 18th, May 11th through 18th, UWM, graduation May 19th, and I asked one of the organizers, what's going to happen if you get to the summer and your demands haven't been met? This is what they said.
Yeah, I think that we would. I think that we might have to start thinking differently strategy-wise, but we would definitely still be here.
So they're saying that they would stay on campus during the summer, or at least try to, if those demands haven't been met. But morale is high, they say, at UW Milwaukee.
WTMJ's Jack Rao. Thank you, Jack. Meanwhile, the meeting between university leaders and demonstrators at Bascom Hall has ended. This is some breaking news, Jessica. Update is expected sometime this hour from Madison. Number 2, the Bucs season is unfortunately over. There will be no Game 7 in Milwaukee on Saturday night.
They will enjoy that sweet taste of victory while the Bucs will have to indulge in the exact opposite of bitter pill to swallow after a season high in expectations comes to an end much earlier than they would have liked.
That's Dave Kane on the call from last night's game. 120-98. The Bucs never really threatened in the game. They were up in the first quarter and then within 7 or 8 points at times in the second half, but Indiana just too hot in front of their home crowd, ultimately getting that win.
There were so many times where I thought, we can do this. We're not too far away. But then we just stayed a little too far away. A little too long.
And it was emotional on the sidelines, too. It's not a great night for Patrick Beverly, who was caught on camera throwing a ball at fans seated behind the Bucs bench. This was not a good look. He actually did that twice.
Terrible look.
Later explained on X that he was provoked. It prompted the TNT crew, including Charles Barkley, to say this after the game.
I've done stupid stuff, and and I got criticized. That's just wrong. He's going to get suspended for that. And that's going to be a good one, too, because he didn't do it once. He did it twice.
Yeah, no doubt. Don't expect that from a 35-year-old, 12-year veteran.
I don't expect that from an 18-year-old. That's just stupid.
So following the game, it didn't end there. Beverly dismissed an ESPN reporter from his media scrum for not subscribing to his podcast.
Crazy.
Subscribe to my pod?
Do I subscribe to you? I do not.
So you can't interview me then. No disrespect.
Well, Jamal is here.
You subscribe? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like you haven't in the past.
You'll move that mic, please, or just get out the circle, please, for me, please, ma'am. If you're not subscribed to my pod, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, the producer is Melinda Adams, who tried to interview Patrick Beverly at his locker following the game, and Beverly, I guess he was polite, but his requests, as a credentialed member of the media who has been in that situation before, is completely unacceptable.
No, it's bizarre. And at first, when I was watching the clip, I thought, is he joking? And then he went on. I thought, oh my gosh, this is not a joke. And then I found out that he's done it before. This isn't the first time he's done that.
No, that is also accurate. So the name of the reporter is actually a producer for ESPN. Her name is Melinda Adams. So she has taken to X and used her platform to say Patrick Beverly has called her to apologize. And it's an apology that she has accepted. The Milwaukee Bucks have also reached out to Melinda Adams apologizing for the actions of their player. Should be noted that Patrick Beverly is an unrestricted free agent. It may have been his last game as a Buck. I think he loved him on the floor, but this kind of stuff has followed Beverly throughout his career in the NBA.
Yeah, that was a little strange. Like, okay, not everybody needs to follow your podcast, buddy.
Right. It's an entertaining podcast, but that is not a prerequisite to interview somebody after the game.
Jeez, wow. Number 3, Summerfest named the best fest for value this year. You're getting your money's worth. That's according to new research by casino website McLuck. You will pay just 62 cents per artist. So you think about it. People do complain because prices always go up, right? That's how the world is. It's not just Summerfest, but year after year, prices seem to go up. I still think it's an incredible value for all of the artists that you get, and I've always said that throughout the years. But that's basically what this was looking at how much you will pay per artist. And so 62 cents per artist for us here in Milwaukee. Compare that to Lollapalooza in Chicago, where you'll pay $3.10 per artist. Single day tickets, by the way, in case you're wondering, since I mentioned tickets, people are always like, oh, what do you pay now to get into Summerfest? This year it's $28. The Power Pass for all 9 days, that's $130. But if you really want a deal, you pay attention to the promotions.
Yeah.
I always say, if you're paying to get into Summerfest, you probably aren't doing it right.
Nope, you're doing it wrong. Summerfest has always made it friendly. Admission is not too difficult to find for Summerfest, which is coming. Definitely looking forward to our run at the fest. Well, what has Jessica feeling optimistic after her Bucks lost last night in Indiana? Some very interesting comments. I think it's your loss. The mood, when you walked in, you were such a bright and shining light into our morning meetings. I could sense a little bit of disappointment this morning.
Oh, yeah, I was disappointed.
And understood.
But I'm also the one who said there's optimism here. And not just from one person, but two people. And I'd like to focus on that.
Okay, we'll focus in on the good. Why is Jessica optimistic? We've got it after this.
The Political Power Hour with Steve Scafidi.
We know that laws sometimes have to be interpreted by judges and courts. That's what we're essentially doing here, right?
Hearing from political experts from across Wisconsin and beyond.
Right. We keep talking about this, but it's self-evident that, there are limits here.
Our Constitution is sacred, and it does not give the president, any president, Republican or Democrat, the authority to violate the laws of the United States.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
Honoring those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe. WTMJ is highlighting first responders who went above and beyond this past year. It's all part of Steve Scafidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank and sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Here's what you do. Nominate your first responder now at WTMJ.com or through the mobile app. The period is open for nomination through May 10th, and finalists will be recognized during Hero Week. That's coming May 20th through the 24th. We want to tell these stories, but we need your help to do it. Steve Scafidi's Salute to Service is presented by Waterstone Bank and sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend Accunet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which Accunet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Beautiful weather day today. Nice little afternoon lake breeze. Sunny conditions, a high of 71. Clear tonight and a low of 48. Increasing clouds on Saturday, a chance for some PM showers, maybe a storm, and a high of 72, 68 closer to the water. It is 64 degrees in Milwaukee. Interesting choice. Aaron Pelican producing the program today as Jessica is in a somber mood,
It's
crying in
over
her
now.
coffee.
Oh, I love this song, though. How appropriate is that?
It is over. It is over. The Buck season ends. But you are optimistic. You came in saying, you know what? I was feeling down about the game last night. Bucks were never really in it in the second half, never really threatened, so it wasn't very abrupt. It was kind of a slow burn of watching that game. But some comments, namely from Damian Lillard, made you feel a little bit better.
Well, and here's the thing. I actually didn't tell you guys about this in the meeting, but so last night I had to take my dog to the groomer. He had to be there at 5. The game starts at 5:30, which that was another kind of, we've had weird times for our playoff games. Sure. So anyway, so I rushed the dog out to Bayview. I run to the grocery store real quick to get some dinner, and then I rush home to watch the game. So I'm a little bit behind. So I'm playing catch up, right? Then at some point I've got to go back out to get the dog. So the decision comes in, do I come back in and just watch this live knowing that I've missed a big chunk of this? Or do I rewind and watch it all and just stay away from social media?
That's a huge decision.
It was. I decided, nope, I have to see every minute of this because I've been with this team this year, right? I mean, well, since I've been a kid, I've been with this team. But I'm like, I have to watch every single minute of it. Then at some point, I'm still thinking we could do this, right? We could still win. The Bucks could win here. I look at my work email, and I see an email from our assistant program director.
Oh, no, the new schedule.
Oh, Oh, and he mentioned that the Bucks lost, and I'm like, oh no. So then the other thing was, now, would you, if you knew that the Bucks lost and they were out for the season, would you continue to watch the rest of the game?
I'm done. I'm on to Food Network. I'm doing something different. I'm distancing myself. I don't need to be put through more pain.
That. But I put myself through it. I had to watch it all, and I watched it.
Okay, but you're feeling a little bit better today because here's something Damian Lillard had to say. And it had been kind of an up and down year for Lillard. His numbers look okay, but he was injured a little bit, going through some personal issues, moving, new head coach, then another head coach brought in.
What he said after the game did make me feel better going into next season.
I'm extremely excited. I think when things don't go as planned, like I said before, I don't say a lot. So sometimes when people, make a read, Dame, he doesn't look happy. I don't think I've ever run around on the court smiling. My disposition has always been that way. But I think, people are going to look at everything and try to make something of everything. It's been some hard times. I haven't denied that one time this year. Basketball and personally, it's been some hard times, but it's never been a issue with Milwaukee. I get the opportunity to play with Giannis. I'm playing with veteran players. I know that the only thing we plan for is the opportunity to win the championship, and that's why I made the decision to be a part of something like this. I understand that the chatter and the gossip and all of those things come with the territory. I know that criticism comes with being on a team with high expectations. Now that the season has come to an end, I'm looking at it and, when I look at my performance, I know that I could have done a lot of things better. And I know that I'm going to have a full season of knowing the coach I'm going to be playing for, having a better idea of the guys that I'm going to be playing with. Being in Milwaukee, I kind of settled into things here. So having a regular off season and being able to actually, train and be able to do live stuff. Last year I couldn't do certain things because I couldn't get hurt because I knew I was going to get traded. So I think going into next season, they'll be really surprised that, how much of an impact all of these things actually did have when they see me come back.
All right, I feel a little better.
And then when we have Giannis back, and Doc also said after the game, he said, a lot of times you're ready for the season. Once the season's over, you're ready for the break. But he was like, you know what? I can't wait to get these guys back in here. I can't wait to get started. And he said it means more than you can even imagine that he's here in Milwaukee. So the two of them combined, I just got the goosebumps. The two of them combined, I just felt very optimistic moving forward on to next season. Okay, we're done with last night.
It's got to stay healthy. They were unhealthy at the wrong time. That certainly was the case. 11:24 on WTMJ. A little weekend forecast coming up after this.
Breaking news out of Major League Baseball. We have major breaking news.
According to Ken Rosenthal, it's not the Brewers, it's the Chicago Cubs that have won the services of Craig Counsell.
There's an old friend at the friendly confines, but we're not so friendly anymore.
High fly ball out to right center field. Racing back is Arozarena at the track wall. It is gone. Willie Adames.
The Brewers head to Wrigley to take on the Cubs. Network coverage begins at 12:45 on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Siding Unlimited, America's best installer of America's best replacement windows. It's right there in one place, Siding Unlimited. That's right, sidingunlimited.com. Their showroom is located in Brookfield, 665 Larry Court. Did you know Siding Unlimited is recognized by Pella as one of 5 premier installers in the country? Better than that, they are the top. For 4 of the past 5 years, Pella has honored Siding Unlimited as their National Certified Contractor of the Year. So here's what it means. When you get those great Pella windows, you want the best installer. Otherwise, you're sort of back to square one. That's where Siding Unlimited really shines. They've got the great products, but they also have the incredible installation teams. They get it right the first time. They'll come back if they need to. It's Siding Unlimited, the best in the business and country. SidingUnlimited.com.
Celebrate the music of a true Hollywood legend when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Movie Music of John Williams, May 3rd through the 5th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Tickets are selling fast, so don't wait another minute to reserve your seats now by calling 414-291-7605 or visiting MSO.org. Music director Ken David Mazur will lead the MSO in a wide variety of John Williams' best-loved scores, from his anthems for the Olympics and NBC Sports to so many of those blockbusters that just wouldn't be the same without his music. Jaws, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and so many others. Don't miss this opportunity to experience the movie music of John Williams played live and in a former movie palace. Visit MSO.org for tickets or call the box office now at 414-291-7605.
TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson joins us to talk about the weekend ahead. Nice little stretch here, Brendan. Some temperatures in the 70s, still a little cooler at the lake, but not the dramatic difference where it's like 72 in Menominee Falls and 54 at the lake. It seems a little bit more tied together.
It really does. I mean, mid 60s, upper 60s at the lakefront, low 70s inland. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. But the winds, calmer the next few days. So expect that lake breeze, that cooler by the lake effect here heading through the rest of the weekend.
Do you know, I don't want to put you on the spot, and that's okay if you don't, but do you know what the lake temperature is right now and how that is playing into our temps?
Yeah, so right now, lake temperature, I want to say, is about 48 degrees last check, about 46, 47. It really depends on where you're taking that temperature from.
That's true.
But when you get a pretty light wind that's coming out of the north and west, if it's less than 10 miles per hour, that temperature difference, that's about a 20-degree difference, land, water, that temperature difference is just enough to push inland and create that lake breeze. So if I get a wind that's over 10 miles an hour, it feels breezy to you out there, that can kick the lake breeze out. But over the next couple of days, that just doesn't look to be the case.
So, Brendan, I see rain kind of spotty here in your forecast. Are we looking at something that's developing, or is it just, going to be kind of here and there popping up on the radar?
Sure. Yeah, so we've got another complex of showers and storms that's going to develop on the plains tonight into tomorrow. So, we'll be looking at radar first thing tomorrow morning and saying, oh boy, that really looks like it's really cooking. But it will fall apart as it gets to us. What I do think might happen is during the afternoon, we might see a little bit of some redevelopment along the frontal boundary. A narrow window here for some scattered showers, couple rumbles of thunder, pretty much between about maybe 2 and 6 o'clock tomorrow. So Saturday morning, just fine. After dinner time, just fine. We just have that narrow window where we have to watch out for some rain. Then once the front's out of here, we'll be back into the lower 60s for Sunday and Monday, but full sunshine expected, so not too bad.
All right. Well, I guess get out there early tomorrow if you're going to the farmers markets. Dodge the rain. West Allis Farmers Market opens tomorrow, but they're always interesting because they open later in the day. Their hours on Saturdays this year, 1 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
Very
there you go. If you're out early in the morning, I'd grab a jacket. Mainly clear sky tonight means that those low temperatures will fall back into the upper 40s. But, once the sun comes up, starts heating things up, we'll be quickly into the 60s.
Good stuff, Brendan. Have a great weekend.
You too, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
News is next on WTMJ.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, weekly feature where we cover the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses, and all of us who live here. Sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Great to see you, Jeff. A common misconception, let me say, among a lot of consumers. If a product or a service is offered at a really good price, quality of the service must be compromised. When we're talking about insurance, is that always the case?
Hi, Vince. Thank you. Great to be here. And this is not always accurate, Vince. Price and service quality do not have to be mutually exclusive. And as an insurance buyer, you should demand both from your agent and broker. From a value or price perspective, R&R Insurance works with dozens of highly rated, financially stable insurance companies. That's incredibly important in today's environment. Buyers cannot compromise on balance sheet strength. We know how to position your account, your business, with these carriers and get them to compete for your account. And this competitive price won't come at the sacrifice of key coverages you have to have. We'll ensure that your business has the broadest coverage and a competitive price.
Okay, but you're in a relationship business, Jeff. How about on the customer service side?
It's important on the service side to have resources, and R&R Insurance has skilled, highly experienced loss prevention specialists that have deep knowledge in many industries: manufacturing, construction, healthcare services, education, and nonprofit organizations. And our expertise in cybercrime, directors and officers insurance, and large workers' compensation programs is second to none in the industry. You really can have both when you work with R&R, a competitive price and outstanding customer service.
Well, we certainly know a lot of consumers will pay more for superior service. If you work with R&R Insurance, you won't have to. That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
It's 11:31. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story: updates into an ongoing murder investigation.
I'm Jessica Ty. Make sure to keep your eyes on the road.
Sunny skies, a nice little afternoon lake breeze expected. 68 your high near the water, 71 inland. Mainly clear tonight with a low of 48. Clouds in the cards for Saturday. A chance for a PM shower or storm with a high of 72. Inland, 68 near the lake. It's 64 degrees in Milwaukee. At 11:32 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, an update into the death investigation of Sade Robinson, the teen who was murdered and dismembered in early April. New searches of the waters near Warnemont Park this week found no additional remains. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office also cleared up rumors on social media, including that the investigation is continuing. They also clarified that no one was allowed inside the suspect's home while multiple searches were conducted by investigators. The suspect in Robinson's homicide, Maxwell Anderson of Milwaukee, remains in custody in the Milwaukee County Jail on a $5 million bond.
Pro-Palestinian protesters at UW-Madison just wrapped up their second meeting with the university chancellor. WISC-TV Shane Hogan reports on the first meeting.
The question today is what will happen after that 24-hour period is up. Will police come back and remove tents like we saw Wednesday morning? Or will a resolution be met between the university and the protesters?
Tents were removed Wednesday by police, but students put them back up again, and pretty quickly. At UWM, students from Marquette University and Shorewood High School joined the encampment there in solidarity.
Schools remain closed in Mount Horeb this week after a student with a gun was killed by police outside Mount Horeb Middle School on Wednesday.
The Mount Horeb Area School District will continue coaching staff today on how to fully support students, preparing for classes to resume on Monday. Wisconsin Office of School Safety Director Trish Kilpin talks about what comes next for the future of school safety.
We must simultaneously prioritize prevention, protection, having those secure entrances, mitigation, so when something happens that we're lessening the impact of that and we're reducing the trauma symptoms for our youth and our community, and then our response and our recovery are related to that.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
And the shooter was identified as a student in the district.
A large house fire in Waukesha happened Thursday afternoon on Sunset Drive. No one was hurt. The homeowner reports hearing a loud pop coming from the garage and seeing smoke around the edges of the closed service door between the house and garage. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
Waukesha County in the spotlight for traffic enforcement. Drivers, beware.
After reviewing crash data from the Wisconsin DOT's Community Maps program, the State Patrol has chosen deployment areas for their special patrols watching for risky driving behaviors. On Monday, the State Patrol, in partnership with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office, will set up patrols in the city of Waukesha, Village of Eagle, and Town and Village of Mukwonago. The goal is to step up enforcement and education in the areas identified as hotspots to prevent crashes, injuries, and deaths on the road. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
Stay close. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Saturday Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
A Friday fish fry is a great Wisconsin and family tradition. I recommend the fish fry at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's all you care to eat, and it's one of the best. All other dinners this weekend are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye, the pecan-crusted salmon, any seafood, steak and lobster, prime rib on Saturday, buy one, get one free. Desserts and that huge ice cream drink selection, buy one, get one free. I love it all. After a long week, relax with a hand-muddled old-fashioned. 20 bourbons and 100 wines in one of the 8 elegant dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the historic Holy Hill Shrine. The Spring Drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is a Wisconsin must-see. And you'll love the award-winning all-you-care-to-eat Sunday brunch. Delicious. Step away from your kitchen. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Enjoy a cocktail and a free dinner this weekend. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
It pretty much hurt doing anything. I couldn't ride a bicycle. You don't have your life because you don't have your mobility.
So when Patrick heard about QC Kinetics here in Milwaukee and their non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain, no waiting, he called them immediately.
There's no downtime. There's no rehab. That was the tipping point for me. I didn't have to take any drugs. I didn't have to rehab.
Before considering surgery, check out QC Kinetics all-natural treatment options that restore and repair damaged joint tissue in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
If you have knee replacement surgery, and then the knee is not yours, and there's no guarantee that that's going to be successful.
QC Kinetics. Patients around the country are raving about the results. They're getting back their mobility, taking back their lives with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
It's Temper Week at Steinhoffel's, the best time to get a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Stop in and test dress the all-new Tempur-Pedic Adapt and get a $25 restaurant reward card. And if their new Tempur Adapt isn't in stock, it's free. In-store only at Steinhoffel's.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Afternoon baseball for the Brewers in Chicago to face the Cubs in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Our coverage gets underway at 12:45 on WTMJ. And the Packers will welcome in their crop of rookies for minicamp this weekend and into early next week.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. A couple of disabled vehicles out on the system, including 4394 South near Howard Avenue, the left shoulder block there due to a disabled vehicle. We also have another one, 4194 South at Rawson Avenue. No major crashes, though, and we'll take that on a Friday.
Beautiful day, sunny skies, a lake breeze, high of 71 inland, 68 near the lake, mainly clear tonight and a low of 48. Weekend looks pretty good. Saturday, increasing clouds, a chance for a PM storm. Don't wreck your day plans, however. 72 inland, 68 near the lake. Sunny on Sunday, 70 degrees inland, 62 near Lake Michigan. 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:38. So if you're looking for me on Sunday morning, I will be down near the lake on the Summerfest grounds, as a matter of fact, helping kick off Walk MS Milwaukee 2024, the annual walk in our city for multiple sclerosis, raising money, raising awareness, an incredible event, a remarkable community, and I'm honored to be a part of that event on Sunday. So join me in the pursuit and fight against multiple sclerosis. We welcome in the director of Walk MS. It's Mandy Stevenson. Hi, Mandy.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Mostly sunny, a high of 62 near the lake. That's the forecast for Sunday. I wanted to make sure you caught that.
Yes, thank you. It's sounding perfect. We're looking forward to a great day.
Well, definitely, and I'm honored to be a part of this. What is new for those who have participated in this walk before or maybe will be and aren't sure what to expect? What's new at the Walk MS this year in Milwaukee?
Yeah, thank you for asking. We are rolling out a brand new Walk MS experience this year, so it's going to be a really exciting day. We are bringing what we're calling circles of support to Walk MS. So during the program this year, participants are going to be able to choose a circle fan of their choosing, representing their connection to MS, and we're going to ask every participant to hold up their circle during the program to kind of show why we're there that day. So really impactful to show the big community that we have in the Milwaukee area supporting multiple sclerosis.
So you'll have some people out there holding up orange circles, some people holding green circles, others yellow circles. What do those colors represent?
Exactly, yes, thank you. The orange circle represents those living with MS. Green will be for people that have that direct connection to MS, whether they're a caregiver, if they lost somebody to MS, if they have a great friend or relative living with MS. And then yellow is for the general support of the MS community. So we're seeing our healthcare providers holding the yellow circles, a friend of a friend, a company team joining us with Walk MS that day. That's what those colors represent.
So I'm just looking on the website. I was looking for an update. It looks like about 1,200 participants, which is great. You can walk as an individual or as part of a team. Again, it'll be at the Summerfest grounds. But the number that really stands out to me right now, Mandy, is $282,000 raised. There is a goal of $332,000, so we're still a little shy of the goal, but that's a remarkable total.
Yeah, exactly. We are really pumped. Just $50,000 to go, and we're feeling confident we'll get there over this weekend. And, of course, all that money raised goes to support the National MS Society's mission to find a cure for MS. So we're really grateful for the amazing community support.
Mandy, what should people understand about multiple sclerosis?
Yeah, the biggest thing right now is that we unfortunately still do not have a cure for MS, which I just shared is our mission. So by coming out to the Walk MS event, you are helping spread awareness and raising funds to get to that cure for MS. We're also here to support everybody currently living with MS and their caregivers. So we offer programs and resources throughout the country for everybody that's impacted by MS. So helping us by attending Walk MS gets us closer to that cure, so we can ring the bell at the end that we found a cure for MS and nobody else has to hear the words, "You have MS."
Well, if you're looking for something to do with the family on Sunday, or you're going to be headed down to the Summerfest grounds, the grounds open at 8:30. The program starts at 9:45, and the walk will kick off at 10 o'clock. There's a 1-mile route. There is a 3-mile route. And same mission, but new experiences this year. And I'm looking forward to being a part of it, Mandy. Thank you for having me as well.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. We're looking forward to it.
Mandy Stevenson is the director of Walk MS. We'll see you on Sunday.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. It's 11:42 on WTMJ. Just Google MS Walk Milwaukee. It'll take you right to the landing page. And if you're able to donate or maybe even register a team, join somebody in the fight against MS, that would be wonderful.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Since 1955, Geist Garage Doors has been the trusted authority in Wisconsin. Had a friend over the other day, and he was talking about how his garage door was busted. He has a glass in his garage door, and wouldn't you know it, baseball knocked it out. Uh-oh, needs some repairing. I said, you just call Geist like they do it. They'll come over. They'll fix it. If you need a new door, new stripping, new glass, right, because of a baseball incident, whatever your needs, maybe a new opener, Geist Garage Doors can help you out. And they're very close. They're located in Brookfield, right off Barker Road. Doors and openers for every budget. They'll go the custom route if that's what your home or project requires. I've been through their showroom before. It's pretty amazing. I could not believe how many doors and openers they had in stock, just like ready to go. That can mean a very quick turnaround time for you and your project. If you need to go the custom route, no problem. They've got a dedicated team. Sanding doors, getting it ready for stain, making sure it's finished properly. Specs on the colors are spot on. You name it. Geist can help you with your project. Check them out in Brookfield, right off Barker Road. Or give them a call at 784-4250. That's 262-784-4250. GeistDoors.com to learn more about this incredible company. From Cudahy to Cedarburg and all points in between, don't think twice. Call Geist.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands. David Nason, host of the Fix It Show, here with my friend Chris Mancuso, owner of Accurate Basement Repair. Chris, what are some signs of basement problems that need to be addressed?
Hey, David, that's a great question. I would say wall cracks, leaning walls, dark or maybe some discolored stains across the walls. Those are really important things to look at.
As a home inspector, I see this often. Don't wait to call the experts I recommend at Accurate Basement Repair today for your free assessment. They're not just good, they're accurate.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Annex Wealth Management. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 8.8 to 12-ounce selected varieties Kellogg's Kids cereal, 2 for $6. 6 to 24-ounce selected varieties Frito-Lay party-sized chips or dips, 2 for $9. 12-pack canned selected varieties Super Chill Soda, $4.49. 64-ounce selected varieties Old Orchard Juice, 2 for $5.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th.
Nice and sunny today. Nice little lake breeze as well. 71 your high inland. 68 if you're closer to the water. Chance for rain tomorrow after a clear overnight. That'll likely be more in the evening, so don't cancel your day plan. 72 your high inland. 68 near the lake. It is 65 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:46. Is the Hollywood blockbuster, summer blockbuster, dead? When we talk entertainment, we talk to Jason Nathanson, ABC entertainment reporter. He is in Hollywood. He knows all things Hollywood. Jason, before we get to that, so Jessica and I were talking earlier in the week about celebrity birthdays, and there was a day this week where Master P, Jerry Seinfeld, and Willie Nelson all celebrated their birthdays. So we had the discussion, which one of those birthdays makes you feel older? Master P is 54, Willie Nelson's now 91. Seinfeld, he's 70. That one made us feel a little bit older than the others.
Interesting, really. Because, I mean, you have to remember, when Seinfeld was on the air and he was successful, it wasn't exactly like he was in his 20s at the time. I believe he was in his mid-30s. So, you know, he hit it a little bit later than a lot of people, especially a lot of people today. So I guess that it doesn't make me feel old. Also, he looks pretty good. Like, yeah. I don't know if he's dyeing his hair or what he's doing, and especially in this movie, Unfrosted, that he directed. Directing his first movie, by the way, also at 70. Although he probably directed most of it when he was 69. So I'm going to say not quite. He wasn't quite there yet. But he looks pretty good in this, so he looks pretty good for 70. And also, 70 is different than it used to be, right? I mean, I remember, you know, when I was a kid, 70 was like, that was old. That was ancient.
70 is the new 50. I just felt like Jerry Seinfeld is one of those guys who should always remain 54. Like, in my mind, he's still 54. Kind of like my dad. Like, I feel like he's always 54 in my mind. But what the heck, this movie, this Netflix, Unfrosted, starts streaming today.
Yes.
It is truly about Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, it's about the origin of the Pop-Tart, the origin story of the Pop-Tart in a way that I think only Jerry Seinfeld and his people could probably do, because he gets really hung up on minutia, right? And he also loves like the 60s and Superman and breakfast cereals and talking about all those kinds of things. So this combines a lot of those passions for him. He co-wrote this, he directed it, as we were talking about, and he also stars in it. He plays an executive at Kellogg's. They're in Battle Creek, Michigan. This is during the cereal wars of the 60s. This is all, by the way, fictional. It's not based on any kind of truth at all. And Kellogg's is battling Post for breakfast supremacy, right? The mouths and the eyes and hearts of kids and sugary cereal. And both of them are trying to race to get to market a breakfast pastry that they think is going to revolutionize everything. And that's where this story comes in. So you have Jerry Seinfeld, Melissa McCarthy stars as one of his cohorts at Kellogg's. You have Hugh Grant, who plays Tony the Tiger and is hilarious in this.
Who's Snap, Crackle, Pop?
It's a couple of the guys from SNL, including Mikey Day.
Love it.
You have Amy Schumer, Christian Slater, Jim Gaffigan, Fred Armisen. I mean, so many names here, and they're popping up, and there's a cameo in every other scene. The jokes here are very, very clever and very well written. They don't all land, but I really admired the writing for a lot of it. There's also kind of a sensibility of kind of an airplane movie type thing, or Naked Gun mixed with a little Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, man.
It's weird. And there's a weirdness there that I really liked. That said, I don't look at any other reviews before I do this. I try to avoid everything possible. I don't want to be tainted at all. I did hear from somebody this morning that there is a review out of Chicago that calls this the worst movie ever made.
Oh, really? It's got to be kind of good.
I don't agree with that. I give this a 7.4 out of 10.
Oh.
But I do understand. I can see where this might not be for everybody.
Jason Nathanson joining us from Hollywood. We've seen a lot of trailers and commercials for The Fall Guy. Does this qualify as a summer blockbuster, Jason, or does that not even exist in 2024?
No, well, I mean, yes and no. This is not a great year for movies, and it's going to continue to not be the best year for movies. We have a lot of things that were delayed because of the strike, and a lot of things, the strikes last year, a lot of things that were delayed to this year, and then also that they couldn't finish in time. So we've already seen so far this has been a pretty bad year. And once we hit May, that's when they start to kind of roll out the summer stuff. Really, it's more towards the end of May, and you get to Memorial Day and things like that. That's when the unofficial start of the summer box office weekend starts. But this is early enough that it can kind of be considered, although it's not going to make the kind of numbers a typical summer blockbuster would. That said, The Fall Guy is based on the 80s television show, which I don't know why that they would go back to that, but they did. But it has two things that I think that really kind of make it stand out above and beyond what it could have been, and that's Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Ryan Gosling stars as the Fall Guy, the stunt guy who's in Hollywood. He hurts himself. He gets out of the business. He gets dragged back into the business by Emily Blunt, who's a director on a film. They have a love-hate relationship, and for the first hour or so of this film, when it's the two of them together, and it's a lot of stuff that makes fun of movies and satire and on-set stuff, it's a pretty great film. I really, really liked it. And then the second half gets into this kind of action movie, detective type thing, which felt a little kind of generic, and I didn't really love. But Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are movie stars in the truest sense of the word. Like the old-time movie stars, they have the chemistry. They could read the phone book and it would be good. So they elevate this film into something. It could have gone really wrong. I think this could have been a really bad film had you had, a couple of people who just couldn't carry it, but they do a lot of heavy lifting here.
All right.
So I'm a 7.3 out of 10 for this.
You said 7.4 before. Come on now.
7.4 for Unfrosted.
That was for Seinfeld.
Oh, that was for Seinfeld.
That was, but I like that you're paying attention. Yeah. That was for Unfrosted, 7.3 for Fall Guy. I know they're close. And also, if you like The Fall Guy, the original TV show, stick around for an end credit scene that you might find kind of fun.
Oh.
Very interesting stuff.
Real quick, can we just end on a fun note since it's Friday?
Sure.
Proper way to eat a Pop-Tart. What are you doing? Frosted, not frosted, toasted, not toasted? Flavor?
Here's what you do. You have the box, right, and it comes in that wrapping. You keep it in the wrapping, and you keep it in the box, and you keep it on the shelf. You don't eat it at all.
I love that answer.
I am not a Pop-Tart guy. Never have been. Never will be.
There's no official anything that says it actually digests after you eat it. It might put itself back together after you eat it, for all I know.
It does. I think you're right.
Jason, you have a great weekend. We know it's been a busy week for you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, take care.
Best answer of the week.
Good stuff, Jason. Thank you so much.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
It's like playing baseball in the house.
Mom, Dad broke the window.
Without the risk of...
Again.
That. Every Thursday at 8:40, play virtual baseball on Wisconsin's Morning News. Step up to the virtual plate and test your mettle against the best.
Swing and a drive to right.
It's virtual baseball, presented by Signing Unlimited. Only played here on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend AccuNet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which AccuNet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Outdoor living is great, but it's best when it's at your own home. Well, there's a company called Outdoor Living Unlimited that will build you a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, all manner of things to enhance outdoor living at your place, even an outdoor kitchen. Get started right away. Contact Outdoor Living Unlimited now. Get your yard project onto Outdoor Living Unlimited's calendar while there's still openings. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Protests break out across the country. An active shooter in Mount Horeb, and the Bucks lose in 6. And more. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
That is the sound of roughly 100 protesters outside the library on UW Milwaukee's campus.
A cardboard sign off the corner of Kenwood and Downer welcomes people to the Milwaukee Liberated Autonomous Zone.
We are here to stay, and we will not move until those demands are met.
Law enforcement officials are now dismantling tents at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Things got a little tense this morning.
Hundreds of New York City police officers in riot gear moving into Columbia University.
As president, I will always defend free speech, and I will always be just as strong in standing up for the rule of law.
The LAPD declaring a citywide tactical alert last night as officers in riot gear responded to a massive crowd at UCLA.
Flashbangs being fired overhead. We've seen a few non-lethal rounds that have been fired at people.
Oh, look at that. Somebody just took a pallet to the head.
Unrest on campuses, it's kind of an April tradition.
10 years after his brother was killed, Nate Hamilton says his family still doesn't have justice.
Justice would have been, Christopher Manny seeing a day in court for us. Whether it was a good outcome or a bad outcome, I feel like justice still should be played out in the courtroom.
Oh, now we have some punches being thrown as Abner Uribe and Siri into it, and the Brewers are not having it.
I think it's best if I just don't say anything right now.
The rifle is recovered with the suspect.
624 affirmed.
An active shooter report at a middle school in Dane County, Mount Horeb Middle School.
The subject never gained entry to the school building during the incident, and the subject was a student in the Mount Horeb School District.
Our community stepping up to the plate to help support capital and operational referendums that allowed us to install safety measures.
The Drug Enforcement Administration is planning to recommend reclassifying marijuana from a Schedule I drug alongside heroin and ecstasy to a Schedule III drug.
It would not legalize marijuana nationally, but it would drastically broaden access to the drug for medical and research purposes.
Smoking some of that weed.
Former President Donald Trump scheduled to visit Waukesha today.
A packed house filling up to the standing room only balconies at the Waukesha County Expo Center.
The choice for Wisconsin is simple. If you want lower costs, higher incomes, and an affordable American dream, then you have no choice but to vote for a gentleman named Donald J. Trump.
A mother and daughter were crossing the street at Teutonia and Vera when a black sedan struck them.
A person who got out of that car originally runs back to that black sedan, gets in, and speeds off.
Every now and then you get cars going up and down the street kind of fast, but I ain't never seen an accident like that.
That is just straight bullshit. That is straight garbage. It pisses me off.
There's cameras all around us. So when people want to do wrong, they didn't understand. You're not doing wrong in a bubble.
4 police officers killed and 4 others injured after trying to serve felony warrants in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The Marshals Task Force was made up of federal agents and other officers from the region.
Today we lost some heroes.
They will enjoy that sweet taste of victory while the Bucks will have to indulge in the exact opposite of bitter pill to swallow after a season high in expectations comes to an end.
Yeah, Bucks lose 6 always. That's for the culture.
What a week.
Sleepy Joe.
Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Burkhart Sporting Goods has a great reputation for producing custom team apparel. We're total team outfitters and we can handle the biggest jobs. Our success in custom team apparel led us into group and corporate apparel. Plus, we have a full selection of promotional products for employee gifts, special events, you name it. And we've made it easy for our customers to firm up their orders. The group sale web stores that we build for our customers are a simple way of gathering all the information you need. They're easy to work, easy to understand, and with them you'll have access to nearly limitless options. We've seen that most times we're better priced than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer. Plus Nike and Under Armour choices that the other guys can't get. And we offer a huge brand selection from Yeti, North Face, and Carhartt too. This is Brian Burkhart. For team, group, or corporate custom outfitting and promotional products, it's going to be really hard to beat our prices, selection, and ease of buying for any size budget and every size company. And that's why we always say, you can't beat Burkhart. New Berlin and Fox Point.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngwith with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to AdventKnows.com.
The Brewers have paid a visit to some of their divisional rivals.
Kicks, delivers, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Except for those Northsiders down I-94. The Brewers and Cubs battle it out at Wrigley Field with our coverage of the game beginning today at 12:45 on your home of the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, May 3rd. Your top story, waiting on news from the negotiators.
I'm Jessica Ty. Food trucks coming back to Capitol.
Sunny today, a high of 71 inland, 68 near the lake. Mainly clear tonight with a low of 48. It's 65 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:02 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom. UW-Madison administration meeting with student protesters today, but no new updates yet. WISC TV's Shane Hogan provides updates on the initial meeting.
There, they would discuss the next steps here for the encampment, including a potential removal of the tents here on Library Mall. In that first meeting, we know that the chancellor promised to students that there would be no police action for a 24-hour period. So we'll have to wait and see here when that second meeting is scheduled for students to meet with the chancellor later this morning.
At UW-Milwaukee, new tents have been added to the current encampment near Downer and Kenwood, and the support continues. Over 100 students from Marquette University marched in solidarity to the UWM encampment on Thursday, as did Shorewood High School students who staged a walkout.
Meanwhile, 2 more schools in New York City have asked police to clear protest encampments.
New York University said the decision to have the NYPD clear a protest encampment was not about free speech, but about the nature of the protest and how it posed a threat to the community. This man saw the encampment cleared and said the response was too strong.
You know, we're screaming, we're yelling, we're loud, but it doesn't warrant, like, a warfare type response.
The news school said they requested police after multiple rounds of negotiations failed. Brian Clark, ABC News, New York.
School will resume on Monday in Mount Horeb after an active shooter incident on Wednesday.
Superintendent Dr. Steve Salerno reminding the community to have sympathy after a student attempted to enter the middle school with a gun but was confronted and killed by police.
It's not lost on any of us that we've lost a beautiful soul in our district. And there's a family that's hurting right now. And Nobody wants this for their child.
Events scheduled for this evening will go on. Students will return to class on Monday. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Now, the district will add more police on school campuses and increased patrols in surrounding areas when school resumes.
An update now on the death investigation of Shade Robinson, the Milwaukee teenager who was murdered and dismembered in early April. New searches of the waters near Warnemart Park this week found no additional remains. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office also cleared up some rumors that were floating around on social media. They say no one was allowed inside the suspect's home while multiple searches were conducted by investigators. Also, the investigation does continue. The suspect in Robinson's homicide, Maxwell Anderson in Milwaukee, remains in custody in the Milwaukee County Jail.
Well, food trucks returning soon to Capitol Drive. The City of Milwaukee License Division now accepting applications for food truck vendors to operate in what is now the Capitol Drive Density Limited Zone. Food trucks need a permit to park in the zone, which covers Capitol from 76 west to city limits at Mayfair Road. The zone has designated parking areas from a limited number of food trucks after the Milwaukee Common Council imposed a temporary ban to address parking issues, obstructed vision for motorists, and cleanliness issues.
The new Potawatomi Casino Sportsbook celebrates its grand opening today. ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel is there.
When they say Las Vegas-style sportsbook, like, they are not messing around. This thing is better than some sportsbooks I've been to in Las Vegas, and they have done such a tremendous job getting this thing up and ready to go.
The new sports book is located in the old Northern Lights Theater.
I'll be headed out right after the show. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A jobs report yielding strong results here on the markets as each of the indices is surging today, with the Dow up 427 points at 38,656. The Nasdaq up over 300 points at 16,142. S&P 500 up nearly 60 points at 5124. Big day for Apple as well, surging nearly 7%, now at $185 a share. Nvidia also up about 3% today.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:06.
At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Why is abbreviation such a long word?
That, my friend, is one of life's unanswerable questions.
I mean, you'd think someone could make it shorter.
Oh, you mean like instead of saying buy one, get one, you can just say BOGO.
Yeah, kinda.
Through Monday at Hasselus Mattress, buy a new Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, or Beauty Rest mattress, and we'll give you a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Or, in other words,
BOGO.
Right.
Plus, free next day delivery and employee-free showrooms.
You mean I don't have to deal with pushy salespeople?
No.
So I can try out all the mattresses
solo.
And through Monday, I can
BOGO.
You're a man of few words. I like that.
Buy a new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper and get a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base. Now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Find a self-service showroom near you or shop online at hasselus.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All sports desk. It's the Brewers and Cubs this afternoon. Game one of a three-game series. Looks like a nice sunny day at Wrigley Field with our coverage getting underway at 12:45. The Packers will hold their annual rookie orientation camp this weekend after adding 11 draft choices and 8 undrafted rookie free agents to the roster.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I do have a new crash that I want to let you know about. This just popped up about 10 minutes ago. It's I-94 East, close to Moreland Road. The left shoulder is blocked due to a crash. Once again, I-94 East, close to Moreland.
Traffic is sponsored by Cedarburg PAC Inc., shining brightly for 25 years.
Get your tickets now for two-time Grammy winner Kathy Mattea, country, bluegrass, and a little bit of folk, performing Saturday at the Cedarburg Performing Arts Center. Shining brightly for 25 years, cedarburgpac.com.
Kind of cloudy this morning, and then a definitive line of blue sky. It was interesting driving into the studio today, but sunny the rest of the day. Little lake breeze involved. 68 if you're close to the water, 71 your high inland, clear overnight. There is a chance of a storm tomorrow. It'll be in the evening hours, however. Partly cloudy throughout the day. 72 inland, 68 near the lake. It's 65 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:10.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
An abbreviated Wisconsin's Midday News for a Friday. We've got Brewers baseball. I just saw this. Craig Counsell had some comments posted. We're going to play those coming up a little later. I've not listened to them. But that's sort of the rub here with the Brewers and Cubs. It's always a rivalry, but now, oh yeah, by the way, Craig Counsell is their manager, and he probably followed the Brewers bus down to Wrigley.
I see our guys over at ESPN Milwaukee did some fun stuff with that. They went out to Craig Counsell Field out in in Whitefish Bay, and they were kind of like, maybe it's time to change the name of this one. Yeah. It's kind of fun. It's on social media if you want to check it out.
Some big stories we are covering here as we flip to the noon hour on a Friday.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
After years of delays, the Starliner is ready to take astronauts to space. Boeing makes the Starliner. This is a big deal. It's kind of, they're kind of trying to play catch up with Elon Musk here and his SpaceX. As early as Monday, the Starliner will carry 2 NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. Both NASA and Boeing's reps are comfortable with the launch after 2 test flights had some problems before people climbed on board. So we'll see on Monday.
Right? You getting on that thing?
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm certainly going to watch, and we'll have people updated for sure on Monday.
Okay, so, well, hopefully it's all good news. Meanwhile, Wall Street surging today after the economy added 175,000 jobs in April. ABC News business correspondent Alex Christoforous is saying the jobs were mostly added in healthcare, social assistance, transportation, and in warehousing.
This throws a little cold water on the idea that our economy is overheating. This shows us that job growth slowed last month. We added 175,000 jobs. That's still solid, but it's less than the 240,000 we were expecting, and certainly less than the more than 300,000 that we added the prior month.
So curious what this all means, because March, way more jobs than projected. April comes up a little bit short of what's projected. So the net of it means what in terms of rates? We'll talk to Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management coming up at about 12:15.
And the season is over for our Milwaukee Bucks. And the soup is going to taste a little different next season. The Bucks have 4 unrestricted free agents. Several key players are under contract, though, including Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, and Brook Lopez. Following last night's loss to the Indiana Pacers, Lillard shot down any notion that he's unhappy here in Milwaukee. In fact, he says he's already looking forward to next season.
I think going into next season, people they'll be really surprised that, how much of an impact all of these things actually did have when they see me come back.
Yeah, issues on and off the court, right? Adjusting to a new team, new city, some personal things that Damian was dealing with his family. So it was not an easy transition for Lillard, and it seems like he knows that was the case and is looking forward to next year.
I'll tell you what, after hearing from him, I did feel better. Of course, it was, if you're a Bucks fan, last night, it was so sad. I mean, it was a rough end. We were just banged up way too much at a time when you want to be healthy. We weren't healthy. We lost. Our season is done. That's rough. But after hearing from Dame and also Doc, hearing from the coach about how he actually just can't wait to get the guys all back together and get going, I felt better and optimistic for next season.
Bucks season is over. The Pacers advance to take on the New York Knicks. Dave Spano, Annex Wealth Management, joins us coming up. A big day on the markets after the jobs report. What does it mean for the future of interest rates? We'll dive into that after this.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our Retirement Ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Results that speak for themselves. One of the largest personal injury firms in the Midwest. It's Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. That's right. You've heard it. You've seen David say it on TV. You've likely run into him at a game throughout the course of time. Well, Gruber protects people and families seriously injured in accidents. In fact, they stand up for you to take the burden off your shoulders. It's a family-run business at Gruber, and they are locally known but nationally recognized, making a difference and also helping others in the community. They've been at it for over 35 years, doing it right. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. You bet. Call that number if you need, 414-276-6666, or visit gruber-law.com. Learn more about the firm. Learn how Gruber can be assistance to you if you've been seriously hurt in an accident. It's Gruber Law Offices.
Gospel means good news, and this kind of news is necessarily social. Because of the Holy Spirit, the gospel rustles with an internal dynamism that demands to be externalized, demands to be lived extrovertedly.
Pastor John Nunes with a message about rejoicing on the way, this week on the Lutheran Hour.
Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Beautiful day today, glorious sun and a high of 71. Inland 68 if you're closer to the lake. Not a big difference there. Should be nice wherever you are. Clear tonight with a low of 52 degrees. Might see some clouds and maybe a storm later tomorrow night in the evening hours. Don't cancel your day plans. 72 again, your high inland, and 66 if you're closer to the lake. It is 65 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:17. Dave Spano is the president and CEO of Annex Wealth Management and host of Money Talk here at Saturday mornings here on WTMJ. Happy Friday, Spano.
Yeah, thanks for having me, my friend. I saw Pat Bev throw that ball into the stands, and I thought about you, my friend, but it was Pat actually threw it in on purpose, but I've seen you do that by accident.
Yeah, for me, a bad pass it's not intentional, right? I just don't know where it's going to end up. Dave and I used to play basketball together,
so are you guys
Jessica.
playing basketball together? I'm trying to gather this. You've been on the court.
Yes. many a time.
I would have thought Greg would be good at basketball.
He is. No, he is very good. I'm teasing. He's usually the best player and the strongest player and the smartest player on the court.
I don't know about all that, but I would not say I'm a good passer. So anyways, we move on here. So 175,000 jobs added here in April. So how does this work, Dave? Because March, wow, the numbers were really strong, better than projected. April coming up a little bit short of projected. If you net the 2 months out, what does it all mean?
Yeah, you look at that, and you saw what happened. It was below expectations. 175,000 is less than 240. No question about it. The economists aren't always right. The unemployment rate ticked up, but there were some things in there that were a surprise in that report, guys, and that was that average hourly earnings only went up 7 cents. So that is a good sign for the inflation fight, number one. And then number two, work week went down just a tick, down to 34.3. And so that does mean that the Fed's actions of keeping higher rates is going to work, and eventually is going to work. And it's a long fight. Fighting inflation is definitely in the long game. It is working. It's just working slower than they expected.
Well, and I guess that's my question today, and honestly, that's been my question for the last few months. The big question for you has always been, is the Fed going to cut interest rates? At one point, we thought it was going to happen this summer. Now I'm just wondering, is it going to happen this year yet?
Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm pretty confident that we're going to see something. In fact, after the report today, there's this thing called the CME group, and they kind of they kind of guess where the rates are going to be because obviously they don't know, but they look at everyone's opinion. And, June is really off the table, which is June 10th and 12th. That's coming up. But there is certainly the odds of it happening into September are now up to 70%. And that's been a pretty good indicator. Now, that is ironic because it will be right in front of the election and it could spur on some economic activity. But we're going to watch it. But it is Jessica, that's highly likely, according to CME, that we're going to see that rate cut in September.
So why does this information control the markets? Or at least it appears to have today. Markets reacting very favorably. The Dow is currently up 450 points. NASDAQ's up over 300 points. S&P's up about 62 points. The pre-market trading, Dave, the numbers were off the charts here. Why does this news affect the market so much?
Well, in a weird way, bad news is good news because this is going to suggest that the Fed has to lower rates. And so what happens is the bond market reacted to it. They don't have to wait for the statement from the Federal Reserve. They can trade that. And so we saw bond yields start to come back down. That means lower interest rates in the bond market. Well, lower interest rates means higher bond prices, number one. Lower interest rates also mean lower cost of borrowing for companies, and that's good for equity prices. So that's the reason why we saw stocks go up, is because the Treasury yields began to come down, and that's good for risk assets, not only stocks and bonds, but real estate as well. So that is the main driver. And of course, we saw a lot of the earnings reports that have come out. More than 80% of those earnings reports beat their projections. So that's good news. So we're starting to see some good news. And again, inflation is certainly below where it was last year, substantially below where it was last year, not where the Fed wants it quite yet, but headed in the right direction.
Check out Money Talk every Saturday here on WTMJ. Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex Wealth Management. Appreciate it, Dave. Have a great weekend.
Good. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
You bet. Thank you. It's 12:21 on WTMJ. Want to make sure you know that when it comes time for dinner time, that Palermo's is a great option. That's right. Proudly made in Wisconsin, celebrating its 60th anniversary. Palermo's, they've done it right, decade upon decade. Name a pizza that you see, and it's likely tied to Palermo's. Connie's Urban Pie, Surfer Boy, Screamin' Sicilian. They got the breakfast pizza. That's a little harder to find, but it's good. If you find it, pick up a couple. They've got an option for everybody, whatever your likes. If it's a thin crust, they've got you covered. If it's a stuffed crust, they got you covered. Overflowing with toppings, you bet. Palermo's found wherever you like to shop, including Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, Woodman's, all places that you like to shop have Palermo's. So pick up a few. Put one in the oven tonight, put the rest in the freezer. Save them for the weekend. It's Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
The Political Power Hour with Steve Scafidi.
We know that laws sometimes have to be interpreted by judges and courts. That's what we're essentially doing here, right?
Hearing from political experts from across Wisconsin and beyond.
Right. We keep talking about this, but it's self-evident that, there are limits here.
Our Constitution is sacred, and it does not give the president, any president, Republican or Democrat, the authority to violate the laws of the United States.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
So when our parents were moving from the farm to town when they retired, all these old pieces had to go somewhere because they were getting a smaller place. So we each got some furniture.
Ben and Arvid Huth from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
There was one piece that still had our grandmother's name on it. It was the delivery ticket, basically. It was on the back of the piece, written with lead pencil. And instead of an address, it just said her name, Boyd, Wisconsin. That was the delivery address.
Then that's all you needed for an address.
Yeah.
That was the piece of furniture that all five of us kids wanted. Of all the furniture, that had grandma's name on it.
Today, I tell people that ask me, okay, I bought this piece of heirloom furniture. Is there anything special I should do with it? Flip it over, turn it around, take a magic marker, and write on that thing your name, when you bought this, where you bought it from, why you bought it. That piece will be cherished in your family for centuries to come.
People want to be connected to their ancestors a little bit, and this is one way of doing that.
And the furniture we're building today, 300 years from now, somebody's going to be like, wow, that thing was well built for its time.
PennyMustard.com.
Friday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ. Greg and Jessica with you about 20 minutes from going to Wrigley Field for pregame coverage of the Brewers and Cubs. So Sunday night, 7 o'clock. This happens at different theaters around downtown Milwaukee and the east side. But you'll have a showing of a movie that is, 20, 30 years old.
A classic.
Yes, and then you'll have somebody from that film on stage afterwards to talk about their experience in the filmmaking and what it was like on set and kind of take you behind the scenes. Well, that is happening again this weekend. There is a show at the Pabst Theater on Sunday featuring Alan Ruck. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell, maybe the name Cameron Fry does. Alan Ruck played Cameron Fry in the cult classic from the 80s, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Bueller.
So this will be shown on Sunday at 7 o'clock at the Pabst, and Vince Vitrano is going to moderate a post-film screening with Alan Ruck on stage,
cool.
which is really cool. So Vinny had a chance to speak with Alan Ruck, and you'll recognize some of these memorable clips from that incredible film.
I just knew it was a good part in the movie, and I was going to be acting with my friend. Broderick and I had been on Broadway together right before this movie, so we were already friends, and it just seemed like a natural extension.
Rooney, I don't have all day to bark at you, so I'm going to make this short and sweet. I want my daughter out in front of the school in 10 minutes by herself. I don't want anybody...
What? It's too suspicious. He'll think something's up. Cover it. You talk.
I had the most fun the day that I pretended to be Mr. Peterson.
Rooney! Rooney! Yes. Listen here, pay attention. I changed my mind. I want you out in front of the school with her. I'd like to have a few words with you, by God.
If you think about it, it's kind of a love story in a way, because here's this guy who has got the world on a string. He could do anything he wants. He has this beautiful girlfriend. He could spend this day that he's ditching school any way he wants. And what does he decide to do? He decides to cheer up his mopey friend.
Makes me mad. Ladies and gentlemen, you're such a wonderful crowd. We'd like to play a little tune for you. It's one of my personal favorites. And I'd like to dedicate it to a young man who doesn't think he's seen anything good today. Cameron Fry, this one's for you.
Would you take me through shooting the car scene, not the Ferrari scene?
The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT, California.
Your car scene. He'll keep calling me, he'll keep calling me.
He'll keep calling me. He'll keep calling me until I come over. He'll make me feel guilty.
I mean, one camera fixated on you, even as you leave the vehicle.
This is ridiculous, okay? I'll go.
John just said, you got to get in the car and get out of the car and get in the car and get out of the car. And he does this to you all the time. He makes you do stuff you don't want to do. And so let's see you really show some steely resolve and say, no, not this time, man. And then just completely cave.
I am not going to sit on my ass. As the events that affect me unfold to determine the course of my life, I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to defend it.
I think that was something that John did very well, is he honored kids' feelings and their hopes and dreams. And, you go through stuff when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. You get your heart broken or whatever, and people around you try to comfort you, and they say things like, in 10 years, 20 years, you're not even going to remember this. That might be true, but at the time, you're pretty sure you're dying.
You're not dying. You just can't think of anything good to do.
When Cameron was in Egypt's land, let my Cameron go.
Is there going to be a sequel?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, my joke has always been that they should wait until Broderick and I are somewhere deep into our 70s, and Cameron should be in a nursing home, and Ferris should come spring him out for the day and show him one last crazy time, one last crazy day in town, and then at the end of the movie, Cameron dies. That's what I think we should do.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Now, about your house.
Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Do you have new siding and now you just want to keep it looking great? There are a couple things that come to mind when maintaining a beautiful home exterior. The first is just a good old cleaning. We recommend that you use a hose or a very light setting on your pressure washer to spray the dust off your siding. Don't force the water onto the siding very hard because water could get behind the siding and cause damage. Your home may or may not have a weather barrier behind the siding, and using high pressure water could cause problems. Definitely clean your siding to keep it looking beautiful, but don't get crazy and wash it off the building. Another quick tip to avoid siding issues comes with our favorite summer activity, grilling out. As much fun as it is to try different grilling recipes, using the grill too close to the home could result in some unforeseen disasters. When you use your grill, make sure it is away from the home. I like to make sure it is at least 7 feet from the house. If you have vinyl siding, the results of the grill being too close can be obvious, melted siding. However, if you have siding that won't melt, the heat from the grill could cause issues with the siding's paint or radiate through the siding and cause issues with the insulation, wiring, plumbing, or anything else in the wall that the heat could disturb. When you get new siding that is going to last a lifetime, just a few house cleaning tips can go a long way in preserving your beautiful home. Oh yeah, and keep the weed whacker away from the siding too. That never ends well.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for replacement windows, roofing, decks, and, of course, siding. They are the best, as acknowledged by the many rewards their suppliers have conferred upon them. Now, take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
It's 12:31. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story, negotiations get heated at UW-Madison.
I'm Jessica Ty. A presidential visit set for Racine.
Brilliant sun today, a high of 71 inland, 68 near the lake. Nice and clear tonight with a low of 48. Some clouds on the increase tomorrow and a chance of rain later in the day. 72 your high inland, 68 near the lake. It's 65 degrees in Milwaukee. At 12:31 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, updates from the protesters on negotiations with UW-Madison officials. WISC TV's Maddie Heimich has more.
Those student protesters just provided us with an update on that second negotiation they had this morning. 4 of the protesters who were arrested Wednesday morning are now facing felony charges, according to these students. Their hearings are today, and protesters are calling on the district attorney's office to drop those charges. Students here are also putting additional pressure on campus leaders.
Strong feelings from the student protesters who were in the room.
One of the Palestinian protesters at the negotiation this morning withdrew from negotiations until UW admin issues an apology for Wednesday's events. Administration offered a phone call later this afternoon to continue negotiations later today and a meeting tomorrow with lawyers present.
At UW-Milwaukee, new tents are up at the current encampment near Donner and Kenwood. Dean of Students Adam Jussel says the encampment must end in a safe manner.
The search continues in Milwaukee County for evidence connected to the death of 19-year-old Sade Robinson.
Independent nonprofit Bruce's Legacy conducted another search of the Warnemount Park area Monday, near where Robinson's severed leg was found earlier in April. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says the Monday search yielded no new evidence. Meanwhile, the Sheriff's Office says rumors have been circulating online concerning the status of Maxwell Anderson, who's accused of murdering and dismembering Robinson. They clarify that at no point has Anderson been released from custody and that Anderson's family has not inappropriately entered his home. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Decision Wisconsin, President Biden is coming back to Wisconsin next week. The president will be in Racine on Wednesday to deliver a speech and also for a campaign event. No other details are yet available.
MATC names Dr. Anthony Cruz as its next president. The district board of directors made its selection during a special meeting on Thursday. Dr. Cruz currently serves as president of the Kendall campus at Miami-Dade College. He has 28 years of experience in higher education with various leadership roles. Dr. Cruz will be the 11th president at MATC. He succeeds Dr. Vicki J. Martin, who announced her retirement last fall.
Well, a dangerous chemical leak At an ice cream shop.
Shep's Ice Cream on the east side of Madison had to evacuate their store Wednesday for an ammonia leak. The Madison Fire Department was called to the store. No illness or injuries were reported. The ammonia readings returned to acceptable levels after a half hour of ventilation. Earlier this year, Shep's was fined over $145,000 for OSHA violations. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sunny and limited. WTMJ News time is 12:34.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend AccuNet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which AccuNet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendall Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Got an old boat, a new boat in between. Kendall Marine, upholstery and parts, hard to find things. Kendall Marine. Cruise to Kendall Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Everything you need but the water. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendall Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Like a boat-loving kid in a candy store. Kendall Marine. If you have a question, we have the expertise at Kendall Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendall Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
Easy to find at 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin or KendorMarine.com.
Brewers and Cubs coverage gets underway in about 10 minutes here on WTMJ. Game one of a three-game series. Milwaukee begins the day with a one-game lead over the Cubs for first place in the NL Central.
Friday, not too bad on the roads. Enjoy it. That could change later.
Traffic is sponsored by T-Han Greenhouses in Oak Creek. Buy direct and local for all of your garden plants.
Come quick to T-Han Greenhouses in Oak Creek for the best selection on blooming hanging baskets, deck planters, annuals, perennials, and vegetable plants. T-Han Greenhouses in Oak Creek. Buy direct.
Beautiful day. Get out and enjoy it. No traffic either. 71 your high if you are inland, 68 closer to the lake, clear overnight. Chance of rain again tomorrow, but 71 inland, 68 near the lake, 66 in Milwaukee. Well, another holiday is upon us here. Another excuse for a party, right? Right? Or is it?
Always an excuse for a party.
Here we go. It's another cultural holiday. So let's party. Break up the sombreros. It's time to celebrate Mexican independence. Yeah, that's a common misconception. But really, it's not that at all. In reality, Cinco de Mayo has significance to a relatively small section of the Mexican population. According to Marquette Department of History professor Sergio Gonzalez, it actually has to do with a battle.
Cinco de Mayo is a celebration that goes back to the defeat of the French army in 1862 in the city of Puebla, Mexico.
Think of it as one of those battles where the home team, Mexico, totally outnumbered, emerges victorious against the huge aggressor, France. Think Sparta versus the Persians at the Battle of Thermopylae.
This is Sparta!
Ultimately, they lost the war, though, but for people of Puebla, Mexico, it was a pretty big deal.
Since then, there's been a commemoration of this big battle on Cinco de Mayo, on the 5th of May, and throughout the country of Mexico and among many Mexicans, this is an important day. However, it is not actually Mexican Independence Day, as I think a lot of Americans sometimes confuse it to be.
Aha, so it's not what we thought. But still, We here in Milwaukee, of Mexican heritage or not, have never shied away from having a great time. So how has this one been celebrated?
Well, I think since the 1920s and 1930s, Mexican immigrants in the city of Milwaukee and across the state have held a number of different cultural celebrations. But again, the much larger celebration comes around September 16th, which is the National Day of Independence for the country of Mexico.
So we have yet another celebration to look forward to in September. For this Cinco de Mayo, head on out to your local Mexican restaurant like the Zocalo Food Truck Park on South 6th Street, or maybe other festivals like at UMass on South Chase Avenue, who's hosting a Cinco de Mayo festival this Saturday. There's even a restaurant called Cinco de Mayo Festival right on Morgan Avenue. Our own Libby Collins has the full interview with Professor Gonzalez this Sunday on Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News. Feliz Cinco de Mayo a todos! Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
All right, so there's a wild intersection of things happening this weekend. You've got Cinco de Mayo, and you have
the Derby.
On May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day, the running of the Kentucky Derby. What else can we cram in? You want to sleep in on Sunday. You're going to need to.
Who are you picking? Who's your pick?
Oh,
Which
boy.
horse?
I like to go to a 10-1 odd here. I'm going to go with Just a Touch.
No!
My winning horse.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
10-1 odds. I like that. I think 11-1 odds won last year. I'm feeling it.
Okay, well, I can't do the same horse as you. I like Just a Touch as well, because while I was doing some research, I found a big picture that was just kind of bizarre that I liked. And I saw that Just a Touch was just a touch frisky during bath time the other day.
Well, that's good. He's ready to run.
But you know what? Just in case we picked the same horse, I had a plan B. Here's my pick.
That is a deep cut there. Well done.
Forever Young. I'm going with that one.
Okay.
And as soon as I saw it, it took me back to Rod Stewart.
So that is a 10-1 odd, and also one of the only Japanese horses. Japanese horses never won the Kentucky Derby.
All right.
A little bit of history there.
Yeah, and Aaron Pelican. Let's bring in our producer. Who's
All right,
your
Aaron,
pick?
you got 20 seconds. What do you want?
I'm going with Epic Ride because it's going to be an epic ride.
An epic ride. I've not looked at the forecast here, but Kentucky Derby is a scene, man. I tell you that much. So you've got Cinco de Mayo, the running of the Kentucky Derby, May the 4th be with you, kind of all converging in the same weekend. You might want to sleep in on Sunday, maybe even take Monday off. We will authorize that for you here on WTMJ.
What a weekend coming up.
Brewers baseball coming up. Yeah, Brewers and Cubs as well. That'll be a fun series. It gets underway. We send you to Wrigley in just a couple of minutes.
Rose Gray from Fox World Travel here to bring you exciting news. In partnership with Globus, Insight Vacations, and Avalon Waterways, our 2025 Fox Group Vacations collection is now available. Whether you want to explore Europe, Hawaii, Asia, or beyond, by land or river, our award-winning Fox Group Vacation experts have handcrafted exclusive experiences for people seeking to explore the world. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Join us and make memories to last a lifetime.
Inflation, market volatility, global unrest, a presidential election. You're not alone if you're feeling stressed about your investment and retirement planning. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. We'll build a plan that works for you, your family, and your investment and retirement goals. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Just starting out, there's Annex Ignite. If retirement is on the horizon, Annex Comprehensive Wealth is a great fit. If you've got high net worth and complex planning challenges, consider Annex Private Client. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. Annex